troublesome youth. Good morning and welcome to putting it all together with Google Apps. We're going to get started here in a minute. Just a brief introduction. My name is Mike Cannizzo. I am the Technology Manager at Maine East High School, District 207 in Park Ridge, Illinois. And I'll introduce my colleagues in a minute. When thinking about this presentation, you know, there's a lot of Google stuff. Pretty much everyone familiar with Google? Google Apps. A lot of people use Google Apps in their district. Yeah, so, okay. Well, if you don't know, Google Apps is basically an online suite of applications, email, documents, sites, and about a year or two ago, they also integrated all of the other applications that you can get as a consumer if you sign up for a Gmail account, such as Maps, Google Earth, Picasa, all of these other add-on services that they have. Those weren't integrated into the Google Apps initially. So our district has been using Google Apps for a couple of years, and once we kind of got familiar with the documents and the email and the spreadsheets, teachers started asking about, well, what else can I do? And that's really where the idea for the presentation came about is, you know, we can blog and we can do web pages and all different types of things using many different tools online, but because our students have Google Apps accounts, we can pretty much integrate everything. It makes it real easy for collaboration. It makes it real easy. We don't have to have our students going around creating many different accounts. They pretty much get all of these applications with their district-provided Google Apps account. So that was sort of you know, the idea behind this. So if you're not real familiar with all the Google Apps products, we're going to kind of skip over, you know, what a lot of stuff has been done over the last year or two, and you know, with the traditional Google Apps. This particular, when coming up with this, I'm working with a history teacher, and he was interested in getting his students engaged more in with the elections that are coming up. So the project that we're going to show most of our presentation is about trying to use all the various apps to try to engage students and to get them using 21st century skills such as critical thinking and you know, being able to do research and analyze information. And we're going to use the tools to kind of bring it all together. We're also going to show you some of the other tools that are available. There are many, many tools. We can't possibly go through them all today. We just picked a few that, you know, that we have good examples for, and some of them are related into this project for political science class, and some of them are just independent tools. So with that, we're going to get started with Google Voice and Fusion tables, and my colleagues today are Derrick, Wlodarz, and he works at Maine South, and Adad Ocampo, who's our foreign language lab coordinator at Maine East. And Adad's going to start us off.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Like you said, my name is Adad Ocampo. I work with Mike at Maine East. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Google Voice. Now, Google Voice, the way that we are trying to leverage it, anyway, you can use Google Voice in very many different ways. Basically, what Google Voice allows you to do, it allows you to take, to create an account with a different phone number. So if you like voicemail and you like all of the things that your phone can do, you can do that sort of separately from your personal information with a Google Voice account. Okay, so if you were to give this phone number out to your students, it'd be perfectly okay because you're not giving out your personal information. Okay? So what I want you guys to do, if you are able and if you can, go ahead and call this number. And what will happen is you'll listen to a recording that'll tell you to do something. Okay? Now, I believe it says, let me see here really quick.
47 more. What was the last two digits?
19.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. 19.
Yeah.
Hang on, give me 2 seconds. So it should go straight to voicemail. If it doesn't, it's going to ring a little bit and then go straight to voicemail, and then I'll ask you to do something. Okay? Keep ringing and ringing.
It says call ended.
It might be blowing up right now.
Okay. Shouldn't it say call ended?
What's that?
I'm gonna do this after my home.
Just for fun, to continue to call them all day long.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's do this.
Why? What are you sorry about? You're saying that it won't.
No,
work
it
to many
should
people?
It should be working. So go ahead and keep.
It's just AT&T that's not working.
Now that's all. Those are all the voicemails that I'm getting, and the voicemail should have changed already to something else. Okay, so if you can, go ahead and leave a voicemail. Now you can connect this phone straight to your personal cell phone if you want to, and you can also add. All of these are going. I think it might be the connection in here with cell phones. If you can't, that's okay. That's not the important part. The important part, what I really want to focus on, is what you can do with that. And I've got a short little video that'll explain it better than I ever could.
With Google Voice, voicemail messages are automatically transcribed to text. So you can actually read messages in addition to listening to them.
Hi, honey. Are you eating healthy?
This is useful in a lot of situations, like if you're at the movies, in a meeting, or somewhere noisy. It's also useful if someone leaves you a message with a piece of information you later need to find. You can easily search through past voicemails, just as you do email, to find it. You don't need to do anything to get started. Transcriptions will just appear in your account and will be forwarded to your email. Transcriptions aren't perfect, but we hope they're good enough to save you from listening to the message, and we're continually working on improving them.
A black sweater. Sorry.
Okay. So the question then is, what can we do with this tool? What can we do with what you guys just heard on the voice?
I use it in my foreign language classroom. My kids
Perfect.
speak Spanish, they call in.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah, I use it in. I work with foreign language teachers and ESL teachers. I'm going to focus on the ESL side of it because the transcription is only in English. Okay, so if you're trying to do foreign language, it really won't transcribe anything. Okay, and what we do is we use it as a fluency tool. So what we do is we have students, and this is called phone work. What I did 2 days ago, is I printed out a sheet with the phone number and with the tongue twister, Peter Piper picks a pack of pickled peppers. Now I'm not going to do it, but I separated into lines, okay? And I gave the kids that sheet, and when they, some of you heard it, it said, read line 2. Okay, read line 2 and only line 2. Don't worry about the pronunciation, just do your best. And they left me a voicemail with whatever line 2 was. Okay? So, you record a voicemail greeting. You put it in there. If you wanted to, you could actually group your students depending on class and have different voicemail greetings for each class. And each one would have a different assignment, and they will leave you that recorded voicemail, and that assignment would be done. Okay. After they hang up, they've already turned in their homework. Okay.
How do you get that Google number?
It's part of your if you have a Gmail account or if you have a Google Apps account through your school, you can get it. Make sure that your administrator turns that feature on, and then you can get your account is basically already created. Okay.
Google Voice allows you to have different voicemail greetings based on who is calling. This is useful, for example, if you want one message for work.
You've reached the cell phone of Jason Toss. Please leave a message.
And another message for friends.
Hey, sorry I missed you. Leave a message.
To set up a personalized greeting for someone, go to that contact and select Edit Google Voice Settings. Choose a greeting you've already recorded, or select Record New Greeting, and Google Voice will call your cell phone so you can record the greeting.
Start recording your greeting after the tone. When you are finished, press pound.
If you want to set up a personalized greeting for a group, just go to Settings, Groups, and click Edit then choose your greeting.
So not only are you able to hear what your student is saying and how clearly he or she says it, you can actually see it transcribed. Now, the best thing to do is to take the transcription. Now, Google will try to transcribe it as best as possible. But some students really have a hard time speaking. So when you see the transcription, it's really, really bad. Okay? This is an example of a really good one. Okay? The line says, a pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. And there's only one word that is not spelled correctly. Okay? That Google couldn't transcribe that one. And it may have been maybe an error, you know, a recording error or something like that. Maybe microphone feed from background or something. But this person did a really good job. They enunciated very well, and they spoke very slowly, which is good. Okay? The next person, same exact sentence, but everything is completely different. Okay? In this case, this person really has to work on their pronunciation and their enunciation. Okay? And that's how you would be able to grade it. You'd be able to start from the bottom, very, very low level students, and move your way up. And you can see their progress because all of that goes into your Google Voice account and it's recorded and you never have to delete it.
You're saying this person tried to say pick a pack of pickled peppers and it turned into hey Steve Paul?
Yeah. So you'll know that this is wrong. You know that they are not pronouncing it right. And I'll show you what I mean.
How do you know they didn't say hey Steve Paul?
Well, because you have the recording. Where are you? There you go. Here is the voicemail of the good student.
A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked.
And this is the voicemail of the bad student.
A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked.
See? Yeah. So you're using this, and you can do this on the bus on the way home. You can do this from an well, not from an airplane. You can do it anywhere in the world, basically, is what I'm saying. If you have a cell phone, if you have a Google account, you can do this. And anybody with a phone, you don't have the problem of students saying, oh, you know what, I don't have internet access at home. Oh, you know what, I don't have a computer at home. Oh, you know what, my dog ate my computer. Nothing, absolutely nothing. All you need is a phone and your account, and that's all you need.
And you can even grade. These can come in as emails. These voicemails can come into your inbox. You can grade them, and you can then email them back to the students. So you can give them their feedback, send it back to them, and they already know how they did on their voicemail.
Yeah, they can hear themselves. If you email the voice recording, they can hear themselves straight from their email. Yeah. So, alrighty, I am really running low on time here, so I'm just going to move on ahead. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Fusion Tables. Now, Fusion Tables is not available for everybody. It is in the beta stages, which means that they're still kind of working on it. So I'm just going to present this little quick video that
Today I'm going to show you how to create a Fusion table using data collected through a Google form. Obviously, once you've created your Google form, it'll live here in your Google Documents. Okay? And if you did everything correctly, all you have to do is go down here to create table. It's going to ask you where your information lives in Google Spreadsheet. It's going to look through your Google Spreadsheets, and all you have to do is select the spreadsheet that has all of your information. Select. Then it's going to ask you the columns that are important. So of the questions that you asked, which information is the most important. So this one right here is not important to us, so we'll just deselect it, and continue. This is information on your table. We don't need to fill that out. It's just the table name and all of that. Now everything selected here in yellow is seen as a location. We have to modify the columns to tell it that it's not a location, that is actually different things. So first and last name is correct, city and state are correct, they are locations. This place of birth is actually text, and we don't want any format. And the country's flag is actually text, and we need to see it visually, so we do an 8-line image. Save. What it'll do is it'll actually populate your spreadsheet here. In order to see it a little bit better, and the really cool part about it is you can see it as a map. And it'll geocode all the cities and states that you included in here. And it'll actually include the information in these little red dots. So for example here, we have all of our information that we collected here, including our picture. Okay? And that's how you create a fusion table. Thank you for watching.
So yeah, fusion tables again is really, really cool. In this particular project, we asked ESL students to tell us where they were from, a short little paragraph about their city or state or whatever, and to add the URL, the link to their flag. And so what it did is it populated a map and it added little dots to wherever they put as their location for their home. And once we zoom into the location, we see it has their name, it has their country and state, city, the little paragraph where they were at, and it'll actually show you the picture that you included in there. Okay? So again, Fusion Tables is in the beta stages, and they're still kind of working on it to make it available to everybody. But that's it for Fusion Tables.
So how do you get it? Because you're a Google certified.
You can go into the Google Fusion. You can actually Google Fusion Tables, and you'll be able to sign up for a waiting list, and then they'll give it to you whenever they have some more available. So, anyway, I'm going to hand the floor over to my friend Derrick, and he'll talk to you a little bit about the rest of our presentation.
I tag team with Michael on that social science project regarding the 2012 election that the students are doing, and I tackled one of the biggest issues when it comes to, where students are going to find information for a topic like the 2012 election. The reason, such a current event is so difficult to find research for is because traditional databases just don't work very well. When you're talking about something like an election where it's currently ongoing, we have news stories coming out on a daily basis. Those databases that traditionally, we teach students to use to filter through are just not good enough anymore. So actually one of the Google apps that serves a purpose very nicely for finding information for a topic like this is Google News. And the reason I chose to showcase this product is because of how easy it is to use for the average student. There's a lot of news websites out there, but the problem is that CNN, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, when you do a search on their website, all they're doing is pulling stories just from their own website. The beautiful thing about Google News is that it's considered a news aggregate. So it's pulling information from all the different credible sources on the internet and utilizing that power of Google search to give the students relevant information, relevant articles related to current events right on the screen for them, as opposed to going out to these different sources, having to find info from New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, and all these other places. And the nice part about it is most students already know how to use Google, so using Google News is going to be very intuitive for them. I'm going to go into Google News and show you exactly how the service works really quickly, and also how kids can use this for a project that involves current events like this 2012 election. So as soon as you go to the website, it's a very simply designed website. All it is just pulling all these different news stories from various places on the web. And as you can see, as I said, very simplistic design. And the nice part about it is you can choose a few different views for the home page, and the one that I like to focus on is this headlines view. And what this does is the power of Google comes in and it bundles different topics with these articles that are from the same subject. So for example, the big topic about the Syrian onslaught going on right now, there's one main headline that's highlighted right over here, and then there's all kinds of other sources that come in on that same subject. And this happens for all the different topics that are popular right now today. For example, for the 2012 election, we can see here that there's this article here on Romney, and there's all these other related articles that are about Mitt Romney as well.
And a Google article in Google.
Yes. One of the greatest things about Google News, as I said, is the fact that it has such a powerful search engine behind it. It has the power of Google. So, if students want to go ahead and use this tool to look for particular articles, if they're doing a project like on the 2012 election, and Michael's going to go in to show how these different sources are pulled together in a Google site in a little bit, but the students have to find this information first to begin with. So if the students were looking for information on the 2012 election but relating to Mitt Romney and his stance on the economy, I can use Google News Advanced Search if you just click down a little drop-down arrow right off the search bar, and I can do a search for Romney economy, and I can go ahead and do a quick search on that. It'll give me all of the relevant articles for Mitt Romney and anything that has to do with either his stance on the economy or what others are saying about his stance on the economy. We can go one step further. We can use that same advanced search feature. We can do another search for Romney economy. Perhaps we want to find out what he said about unemployment. So I'm going to add in unemployment. And perhaps I wanted to specify that I only wanted to find articles that are extremely relevant. So I only wanted articles that were from February until today. I can specify an exact search period. And if you wanted to go one step further, if the student, for example, only wanted to find articles that were from CNN or Wall Street Journal, they can even go ahead and specify a source for themselves. So I only want to see articles from the Wall Street Journal. If I click on search, there's all the articles from the last month on Mitt Romney's stance on the economy or relating to Mitt Romney's economic views from Wall Street Journal. We can even take this one step further. The beautiful part about Google News, and I think one of the best reasons why I think this is such a great tool for students to use on current events, for projects that they may be working on for a month or a month and a half, if they need to keep finding ongoing information. Any search that you do within Google News formulates at the bottom of the search an RSS feed. Now, an RSS feed in plain terms is a little link that you can copy into the next tool I'm going to show off, Google Reader, and you can see a constant stream, constant flow of articles that are relating to this search come into a single nice interface. And I'm going to show you exactly how that looks. So if I wanted to follow all these Wall Street Journal articles on Mitt Romney's economic stance, I can go ahead and on the bottom left-hand corner here, you see where it has a little RSS icon. If I right-click on that, and I do copy link address, I can go into Google Reader, and I can go ahead and click on this button up here where it says subscribe, paste that link in for myself, and watch what happens. Over here, you'll see under your subscriptions area that now you have a link that's giving you constant feeds, updated articles related to that information. And if students wanted to use this for a project like the 2012 election, they can keep on adding in different subscriptions for themselves with any kind of search term they want. So if they were doing things on Santorum's view on birth control, if they were doing something perhaps on Ron Paul's foreign policy, you can mix and match your searches, get your RSS feed, and have all that come in on this nice interface without having to go back into Google News and redo your search every single day. You can take Google Reader one step further even. I can go ahead and I can look through all these different articles, and like I said, instead of going to Google News and copying and pasting links for myself, that's a little cumbersome. Instead, I can go ahead and use the star feature right within Google Reader. So all these articles that come in on our subscriptions have little stars here. So if students wanted to perhaps use the starring feature to say these are the articles that are most important to them, these are the ones they're probably going to use in that final project for themselves, they can star those And once they star them, if they come up here towards the top where it says starred items, all those articles will be right at the top for them, and they can quickly reference those for themselves. And one other neat feature about Google Reader for these articles is the fact that, I'm going to go back into my Romney Economy feed here. There's a feature called tagging within Google Reader. This is very similar if you've used Gmail. Gmail has labels. You can label your emails. This is the equivalent feature within Google Reader. So I can go ahead and add tags on different articles for myself. So maybe I wanted to just make a tag called keep. This is an article I wanted to keep. Perhaps this is something I want to use in the final project. I can go ahead and add that tag to that one. Sifting through, I want to tag this one with the same tag. And as you see on the left-hand side, now there is an actual tag collection that was made based upon those articles that I had tagged. And if you make different tags for yourself, perhaps for different topics or different candidates, they'd all be added here on the left-hand side as a different tag collection. And one other neat way that the students would be able to use this, so say that the students were working in a team on a project like this, and say that they wanted to show off to their other group members the different articles that they found. As long as they had created tags for these articles, they can click on their tag collection. There's an option under folder settings where they can go into this option called View and Reader Play, and now they can view these articles at a glance, and if they want to make a decision on what they want to keep, what they want to toss, this will allow them to view in sort of a thumbnail mode, a quick preview, all these different articles that they had collected. So Google Reader, Google News, I think are a nice combination of tools that students can use instead of hunting on the internet, just doing random Google searches for topics for themselves or articles that they're looking for. Google News does a pretty good job on filtering out a lot of the junk for them. Now they'll still have to practice a good scholarly searching because, being the power of Google, there's still junk that's going to come up on your searches, but it is nice because a lot of those good sources such as CNN, all the primary news outlets are included in that, and the fact that you can pull in those searches into your Google Reader and use those to follow all those different articles. Kids can set this up for themselves at the beginning of the project, follow their articles, tag them, organize them, and have all that content, all those references and sources ready to go for the next piece of the pie, which is what Michael's going to present on right now.
A couple of features that I like about Google News is you can actually customize within the application itself the sources. So if you want to exclude certain sources or you want to make sure sources are included, then within Google News, when you log in with your account, you can do that. You can go into the settings and say only search the Wall Street Journal or only search CNN, and then it'll limit your searches that way. And that way you can really tailor your search results.
There's a quick option you can choose under sources under the settings. You can choose not to have any blogs because there are blog articles that do get pulled into this. So if you don't want students using any kind of blog sources, or if you even don't want them using any press releases, you can choose, have them turn on this none for those two options, and that means they will only get primary sources from things like news outlets.
So the idea with this project is we're trying to get students engaged, trying to get them to read and learn about the different issues. And what we're going to have them do is actually create a website. They're going to break up into small groups, and each group is going to pick a topic or an issue that they want to follow. They're going to use Reader, they're going to use Google News to aggregate their information. Of course, they can go to other sources. We're just trying to make it easy for them. And with that, then, we want them to be able to read the articles and then be able to use a tool like Blogger then to blog about it. So they're going to create a website. And back to the present. So we're kind of running low on time, but so I sat down with the teacher and we created a rubric. It's not quite final yet, but it's all about setting up issues. We decided to set up the web page into issues, facts, and where the candidates stand. So each group is responsible for one issue. Then we also want students, and they'll be blogging about it. So we're going to be able to track, because they have to log in when they post to a blog. Then we're going to be able to go back and we're going to be able to read that and see. So they might be talking about the economy, and they're reviewing a candidate or various candidates, and they're giving the information, and we're also encouraging them to put in their own opinions. We're also going to have students looking at the other pages. So I'm responsible, say, for the economy, but other students might be working on energy or healthcare or whatever the issue is that they're interested in. And then we're going to require the students to do so many blogs, or to comment on some of the blog postings that the other students are doing. So they get familiar with the other issues as well.
Where do you keep the rubric?
Well, it'll be probably posted on the final web page. Right now, I've just mocked up a web page for this example because the students haven't created it. But and we're on the wiki page, the ICE wiki. We have a link to our handout. We have a link to the presentation and a resource page. So, for example, this is just a mock-up of the website. So here we have the facts, the issues, the candidates. Now this is the home page. So I went and just searched and found like 10 pictures from the web, and I put them into Google Picasa, which is a standalone application, but it gives you an online web storage. Are you familiar with Flickr?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Picasa has an online storage solution like Flickr, kind of, sort of, and it allows you to easily, within Google Sites, this is all built on Google Sites, and you can add in gadgets. So I added in a gadget to pull in my photos from Picasa, and it really only took me a few minutes to do that. I added in a gadget that is pulling in blog information. So this 2012 issues blog, this was a blog I created, and I just created a couple of entries. So right here on the home page, I can be pulling in information. This gadget allows me to add 4 different blogs. So I went to the candidates campaign webpage, and I pulled in their blog feed, their RSS feed, which Derrick had talked about. And the whole idea here is to get information flowing to us so that we don't have to stop and go out and get information all the time. This allows students to collect information more quickly. We can tailor it to meet our needs. And of course, if it's not what we need, we can still go out and get more information. And this is a news gadget. Not highly customizable, but I can bring news right in. But this is just the home page. I have links to the different issues. And probably in the fall, we're going to run the same kind of project, but focus in specifically on the specific candidates. For example, here's just one of the web pages on the national debt. So in the facts column, I was able to pull in some graphs from the internet just to show some information on the debt. We want the students to be able to look at the information, determine what the issues are, what they think the issues are, and then they're going to research and find out what the candidates are doing. And then they can put that information there. One of the things I did, and it's not working very well on this computer, so fortunately I have a video. This is a standalone product, Google Earth. But these tools are really great because it allows students to look at information in different ways. Are you familiar with Google Earth?
Yes.
How much time do you have? A few minutes. Okay, so what I did with Google Earth is, sorry, this is not a live demo, so I'm going to have to go through this video. I was just looking for information, and I found that after the State of the Union address, the president went on basically a speaking tour to try to promote his themes from the State of the Union address. And he went to 5 places in 3 days. Okay, so as a student, what can I get out of this information? And you can use Google Earth for science, for English, for you can plot a lot of different types of information. And what I'm showing you over here on the side is these are the points that I marked on the map. So these are the locations that he visited. He went to Iowa, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and ended up in Michigan. So, okay, well, that's kind of neat, but I don't know. Anyone have an idea why maybe he chose those sites? I don't know. So what I did was I plotted those, and I also put in the title, the date and the title of the speech, because not all the speeches were about the same thing. And then you can control your information over here as far as what you see, like do you want to see the outlines of the states? There's also, Google has this gallery where you can go and get information on a lot of different things. People also make their own information, and you can download, you can save this as a file, and then you can upload it, and that's what I did. I saved it on the website, and now students can come and download this. So I started going through, and I collected some information from the gallery on the 2004 election, and some information on population density, which brought in the number of electoral votes that each state has. Now, this information is old because we have the census, so it's been updated, but that's the way it was in 2004. So I started going, and once I put in the 2004 information, I started clicking on the states where he visited. And in 2004, Iowa went to Bush. In Arizona went to Bush. Nevada went to Bush. Colorado went to Bush. And finally, we get to Michigan, where John Kerry carried that state. So, you know, that's a very powerful way to see information about, you know, what was going on. So now I can start to make some assumptions. Well, maybe he's going to these states because it wasn't too long ago that they voted Republican instead of Democrat. And then, of course, with each point that I plotted, you can of course zoom down, and you can see, you know, the actual detail from Google Earth. It's like Google Maps in that sense. And I was able to bring in the YouTube video for each of those speeches that he gave. So now I'm compiling all the information together, and now I can sit down, and some of them are short, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Some of them are long, like a half an hour. So you can go through, and then, you know, other students can then see this information. Whoops. Where's the present? Flash. So then what I did was, as a student, I learned all of this information, and then I blogged about it. And then I can put my blog post on the web page. So I went in here and I just kind of wrote something up on it. I went out to Wikipedia and I found the electoral map for 2008, and I find that President Obama won 4 out of those 5 states in 2008. And further, I put a link here, and I don't think I have it on the, did that already. With this information, there was also information that showed 2 of those 5 states are swing states. So someone analyzed it over the last 4 elections and found that those 2 states, it was Nevada and might have been
Arizona?
No, it wasn't Arizona. Might have been Colorado. 2 of those states had flip-flopped back and forth multiple times over those 4 elections. So they called those purple or swing states. So, you know, you can really start to aggregate and pull a lot of information together. So you can use all of these different products to collect your information. You can use sites like Blogger and Google Sites to bring it all together so that so students can share information with each other, they can learn from each other, and then the teacher is able then to see what the students are doing, and they're able to, you know, comment back and forth on the information they found. And this is just a screenshot of Picasa. So I went and I downloaded a bunch of pictures. I used Google Images to search. I just randomly sort of picked a bunch of pictures there of the various candidates, saved them, uploaded them to Picasa, and then in Google Sites, you have an option to do a Picasa slideshow, and it just popped those pictures right in there for me. We have the resources on the wiki site, the ICE wiki site. You'll find our presentation. We have the handout, the presentation that you saw here, and a reference sheet. This is just gives some links to help into the various products that we covered. And then I think we might still have a few minutes left. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to take it. Go back to this. It's all on the ICE Wiki. If you go to icewiki.info, you can find our presentation. Question?
Yeah, how do you get the teachers to kind of buy into this stuff during a busy Maine East day?
That's a very good question. A lot of work has gone into just getting this to the point where we're ready to roll this out to the students. And I was hoping to actually have student work available. Yeah. And I do link to some student work in the resources, some other types of student work using
I'm talking
these.
about the teachers.
It's got to be up to the teacher. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thanks.
I just want to say hi to all because I'm a technology person, but I'm now at Maine West, and I'm going to become, God willing, a math and technology person. And, we'll see what happens as a student teacher. So I'd love to catch up with you at Maine East, because I find that Maine West, I don't know about Maine East, but I found Maine West is kind of technology. My area. Anyway, so how do you, I'd love to know how to like hang out with you guys and find out what we can do in Maine West. That would be,
That works.
Do you in Maine East have, because I'm in Maine West, it's like no smart boards,
Yeah,
none of the math.
We have like one smart board.
So